Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Something Something podcast. My name is Eric Kasloff, and with me, as always, is Larry Sands. How's it going, Larry?
Eric, everything is going good. And I know you and I talked about this, but let's see. I'm in Los Angeles right now. I'm at a
Yes, you
friend's
are.
house. And um I am super excited because I've never been to a Harry Styles concert until
Okay.
tomorrow. Wait, before tomorrow. How does it go? But either way, I'm going to see Harry Styles, baby.
Oh, okay.
Do you know Eric? Okay, now I know Harry Styles is not your kind of music.
I like that big song he has now, Same as It Was. I like
Oh
that
yeah,
one.
as it was. Yes,
But
Eric.
remember, I like pop music. I don't really, and pop punk. He would have been on TRL when I was a teenager or in my
Right.
20s, and I would have listened to it
Yeah, yeah,
secretly.
yeah. Well, and so this is like a late gift, right? From Christmas. And really it's from my daughter. I wanted to make sure I was able to get the tickets. And finally she was like, Dad, what do you have that you want to like you're holding? You're trying to tell me something. What's my big present? I said, we're gonna go see. And I said, Megan, I have 2 tickets to Harry Styles. And she's like, what? OMG, no way. And then my next thing was, so Megan, who this Eric this
I
Eric, my
think I know where
friend,
this is going.
this is, if I was a snowman, this next thing would have made me melt. I said, so Megan, who are you gonna take to see Harry Styles? She goes, of course you, Dad. And I was like, oh no. No. So yeah. So we're here. We're here. He's gonna be in LA tomorrow, and it's gonna be absolutely amazing. Now, I have seen Harry Styles, but not as a solo act, because I remember I took Megan to go see One Direction.
Okay.
you, Eric, you have nieces and nephews,
Yeah.
obviously, but you don't live with them. I think it's different because when you
Oh,
grow up, like when you have
completely. Yeah.
kids, or if you lived it with nieces and nephews, you kind of dig what they're into, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And one of the things as Megan was growing up, One Direction got huge, obviously, and that was the deal. One Direction, and then I became a One Direction fan.
I get that. I get that. Yeah. So, Larry,
Yes.
we heard another voice over the thing. Why don't you introduce our guest, a repeat offender, I might add.
She is, she is a repeat offender. Oh, everybody, you will recognize Rose. Hi, Rose. Welcome back.
Hello.
How's it going, Rose?
You will recognize Rose at least from the voice, because now, as you and I talked, Eric, we're gonna throw this up on the intranet.
Yeah, the internet, Larry. A
And
great place to put a podcast.
that's right. And a little thing called the YouTube. It's a new
Yeah.
thing, right? So if you're listening on our audio platforms, you can certainly go to our, and I think the link will be in the description,
Oh,
right?
yes, of course. It'll be in the description. Our link tree is in the description.
Ah, perfect. Okay, excellent. But go to our YouTube page and you can check it out. This is when I had first, like talking to Eric Rose. Okay? Well, let's do this. So you have a new book out, right? That deals with hair
Yes.
and how to and don't let me try to describe it, but give us a little bit of background about your book.
Well, it basically talks about dry, damaged hair from a point of view of relaxes, perms, and colors
Cool,
Okay.
and
perfect,
cuts.
excellent. Now here's the thing. When you were on before and we were talking before, obviously Eric and I are guys, right? And so it more from a male perspective. But, and let me ask you this, is, are men and women's hair basically the same?
DNA wise, exactly the same.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
okay. is there any difference between a guy and a girl's hair?
The way they cut it.
That's it?
That's
Wow.
it.
Wow.
I always assumed there was more.
Yeah. For all this talk about everybody being so different, we're all really the same, right?
Yeah.
That's
This
amazing
is
to
true.
know. That's
Very
amazing
true.
to know. Um, uh, I so talking to Eric, and I was like, oh man, it would be kind of cool to have Rose back on because it's like obviously it's a new year, new you, right?
Yes.
Um, and a lot of guys are. It's been cold, right? It's been super cold, and guys, I think, are now trying to starting to wake up to this idea and the notion of, hey, I can't really wear my toboggan. And I say this knowing full well that probably on the East Coast, it's still kind of cold. But once that cold snaps and winter turns into spring, turns to summer, guys are going to look at themselves and go, I can't really wear my hat, or I don't really want to wear my hat anymore, right? To cover up my hair. So let's talk about, because, and I guess selfishly, like to talk about stuff that I could do for my hair, keep it healthy, hair products in particular. So this will
Yes.
kind of be good. And Eric and I have kind of joked about this because obviously we both have beards,
Yeah.
right? And
Nice. Yes.
and what is it, Eric? I don't even, because I know you don't
What?
you don't have hair on your
Yeah.
head.
Yeah. The top of
But
my head is pretty bald.
well, but I think because we're going to talk about beard care too, just a
Okay.
little bit, and I think that's one of the things that I kind of like about like throwing this on the YouTube, because there's a lot of people on there talking about hair products, and I got the notion to go, oh, we should do this. So Rose, since it's new to YouTube, um, talk a little bit about your background and about your book.
Okay. Well, by day, I'm a mental health therapist. So I say I'm a mental health advocate by day and a hair advocate at night. So
Okay.
Very cool. Very cool. What is it about hair? Is it hair care, hair in general, that you decided to write your book?
well, a lot of products that are easy to use are hard to be found.
Ooh.
So going to the salon is the only place where you can get a lot of products. So I wanted to be able to open the market up and let anyone get the products anywhere they wanted to get them from and have the same results.
Oh, nice. Now that people are like, that is true, because guys, okay, girls may go to like the beauty. So I know there's like Sally's Beauty Supply or whatever.
Yes, 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 yes.
But guys, we're just like, hey man, let's go to Walmart. Let's go to the grocery store, the straight up grocery store or Target, and that's all that we do. You know?
True.
So let's kind of focus, because I think the hair care, like the salons, have a lot more things for guys, right? Or
Yes.
or does I say HEB because that's in Texas, but does HEB or Ralph's or a Kroger have the same things for guys as they do in the beauty salons?
Well, unfortunately, no.
Okay. Okay, let's start there.
So no, but guys can go online and get the exact same products.
Oh, duh. I mean, I guess that kind of goes with the new invention of the internet.
Exactly, Larry. He just got a 56K modem. He's pretty happy with it.
And every time I turn it on, I love that sound. And all the younger generation going, what's that sound? All the older generation over 30 probably will be like, oh man, that's AOL for sure.
That's home.
Yeah.
So that is true. So they could go to Amazon or any really beauty supply place that would carry it. So that's a very good point, Rose. That's a super good point. Let's talk a little bit about hair care in general for men and for women, because I think, like you said, there's not much difference. It's just the length of it, right? Obviously.
Yes.
So let's start with like the cleaning process and how to keep your hair healthy.
Yes. Well, with guys, because generally they keep it cut short, generally speaking. So when they get out the shower, they just rough it up and they're ready to go, right?
Yeah.
Generally, blow dry it, whatever they do. But the most important thing is that to treat it gently, because you've got this muscle, the erector pili muscle, that's holding that strand of hair in place. So when you rough it up, you loosen that strand, and your hair starts coming out too soon.
Oh,
Mm. That's a good point, because women, they kind of towel it, like pat it, and then they wrap it up in a towel. Can guys, and obviously guys do that even with short hair, that's okay to do.
Absolutely. That is what you should do.
Hmm.
That's the best thing for your hair, is to treat it gently and not to handle it so roughly, because it is I won't say it's an organism, but it's a part of us that's going to go away eventually, just like our fingernails, right? We trim our hair off regularly, so it's leaving. So
Right.
we want to care for it as if we want it to stick around, like we do our nails.
I like
Right.
that.
Right. Wow. It's like, yeah, I get it. And that's where that's where hair care really begins, right? Is the nice touch. Because when I have short hair, obviously I just put stuff in it and let it go, but now that it's longer, it's a little bit harder to find a style that I kind of like, and short of going to get it cut, um because I find blow drying it kind of helps with longer hair, right?
Absolutely, yes. But just don't use the blow dryer on high. Use it on medium or cool.
Oh,
Oh, because you'll kind of damage the hair.
You're
And
stressing it. You're stressing it out.
mm,
oh, wow.
okay, for like me, or people with like longer hair, kind of like that rather than short, is there something to do? Because I know, and I'll say this a lot, women put on, there's a lot of like heat, like sprays or something before you blow dry. I mean, is that a thing a guy could use too? And is that a good idea?
Absolutely, absolutely. In my book, I have a list of products that you can use that are cost effective. But one product that I love right now is Oribe, and it's a fantastic product. It gives you the shine, the control without the heavy locking your hair down, but you still have the full control over your hairstyle. It's
Really?
an awesome product. Yes.
Oh,
Hmm. Okay. Now I'm intrigued. Is that kind of like a paste, or what does that help do?
Well, if you go on their site for your hair type, you'll see which ones that you need, because it goes from curly to straight hair. So wherever you are in that spectrum, it will tell you which product to get for you.
Oh,
And it seems to be a little expensive, but because products are so concentrated nowadays, just a tiny small amount will work just as well as a large amount. Using a small amount it'll turn it down into cents of using the product.
really?
Yes.
And see, that's the thing too, because I know that we had talked about. See, that's a good thing. Like everybody we talk about, about like their book and what they do. Because I remember specifically every time I go to get like some paste, I'm like, "Ooh, is that too much?" and
That's right. That's right.
now,
That's right.
what is too much?
Well, a dollop is too much.
Okay,
You're way overboard when you've got that much. Just think of it like, for you, I would put as much as the moon part of my cuticle, or half of a teardrop.
really?
Yes.
Now,
You
is
just work it
that
in your hands really
really?
well. Yes.
And that's sufficient enough for obviously short hair, but guys with medium hair or whatever, that's sufficient enough?
Yes, because you're going to build the shine into the hair. So when you have a good conditioner, a good oil-based treatment, and when I say oil-based, I don't mean have your hair to where you can tell it's in there. That would be maybe a fourth of a teaspoon.
Oh,
And you do
okay.
that maybe once a week.
Huh.
And then your
Wow.
hair would hold on to the shine. And as you know, I don't recommend shampooing your hair every day. That's definitely a no-no.
Okay. Okay. And that's what a good question is, because you do hear people, you know, hey, I don't wash it for like a week. I don't wash it for a week and a half. I go every other day. What is it that could keep it healthy? That is a good washing
Yes,
cycle.
well, for your lifestyle, if you're doing exercise every day, then maybe every other day.
Okay.
Hmm.
So just depending on your lifestyle, the max I would say would be a week.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So, yeah. So when you go out and you play sports, like a weekend warrior type thing, go to the gym every day. So
Yes.
okay. All right. What does that help do? Like,
Well, it doesn't stress. Remember that hair strand is being held by those two little tiny muscles.
yeah.
Just like the muscles on our, when we have, what is it? Goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the
Mm-hmm.
hair stands straight up on your skin, right? The same thing is holding your hair in place on your scalp.
Oh.
Oh,
Is that why people like lose hair in certain places? Or is it just like a male thing?
I think it's a stress thing.
hmm.
Whatever is in the environment is causing that stressor to happen. Are you rubbing it too much? Are you putting the shampoo in the same spot all the time? Or are you stressing, period? Sometimes we can have an overload of anxiety and stress, and they can cause our hair to thin out a lot.
Wow. Wow. Interesting. Interesting.
But I do have a product to help solve that.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
called Ho Shu Wu. Ho Shu Wu is a great Chinese herb. You can find it on Dragon Herbs, and it just fortifies the hair strand. It helps the nails, the skin, and the hair.
Wow.
Hmm. Now, and if you can, obviously, I think the links will be in the
The links will be
description
in the
for all this.
description.
Eric, how do you take care of your head? I know it sounds weird, but
Um, I have a very good buzzer. I wanted to add, there's a lot of barbershop supply stores where I live, and you can buy barbershop quality buzzers. So
mm,
I usually, of course, I shower every day, wash my head, and when I'm ready to shave, I'll let it grow a little bit more than this, then shave it with a good high-end buzzer, and
mhm,
then do the rest with like a regular razor blade.
with a
And for
razor.
my beard, when it's coming in now nice and thick, I shampoo and condition it because I
Nice.
treat it like hair that would be on my head.
Yeah, actually, which is a really good question. Can you wash your beard with, because again, I asked this because now that I have a beard, I'm like, how do I wash it? And you go to internet, you know how it is. But what is like can you just use plain shampoo that you use for your beard?
I think so, but you want to watch the buildup on your facial hair.
Hmm.
So you want to always have some astringent to come in once or twice a month to just make sure that it's clear, there are no oil blockages, and to help keep it healthy. So, but I'm wanting to do, Eric, what do you put on your scalp to make it shine, Eric? What do you put on it when
Nothing.
you've got a good buzz?
Nothing. I use aftershave. That's about it. But I've never put anything on my head to get a shine.
And it shines naturally?
Pretty much, yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thank mom and dad for that.
Well, not dad so much because of him. I got the male pattern baldness.
um, how can well actually, Eric, this brings up. Do you put like sunscreen and stuff on your scalp?
I usually wear a cap if I'm going out in the sun,
Yeah, makes sense.
or a hat, like a pork pie hat, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, which brings up if people do put like stuff on their head, obviously it's really important even to wash your head, right? That scalp if you do put because that will build up stuff, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Even if you're bald, you still want to massage that scalp, right? Either way it goes, you massage your scalp.
Nice, nice. Okay. For like okay, so let's do a recap for everybody. Um, so wash your hair every other day, right? If you're more into like sports and sweating and all that. And go online to get a good like product, right? If you're gonna use a blow dryer or some type of like is there a softener for your hair? Because I know hair types could be because I've got a lot of it, but it's kind of thinning, a little wispy, right? In a way. But I know a lot of people, they have different hair types. And again, I think that's where you said, and that's what you meant when you can go on and pick your hair type, right?
Yes, we all kind of know our hair type, right?
Yeah.
But what you want to do is know the products that's going to work for your hair type. Now,
Yeah.
in my book, it gives you a list of tried and true products that they will work on any hair type. That's the key. You want a product that'll work on any hair type. So whoever's in the house, whether they got curly, straight, whatever hair, they can all use the same product.
That's cool.
Interesting.
That's very cool. Before I forget, I think it's important. Can people contact you for like a
Sure,
consultation? I know that's like a
sure.
weird question.
No, you can contact me on junopromise.com, and I have a little part of it where you can fill out a questionnaire and ask me any question you want, and then my number is in there. My info is on junopromise.com.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So if you're listening, obviously the links in the description directing everybody. Let's move to like hair like products. Once you get out and you have it kind of because it's weird because every time I get it blow dried, I'm like, oh man, this is great. And then I go put product in it, and then it just kind of goes and it kind of like doesn't turn out the way that I liked it before putting the product in. So what am I doing wrong?
You answered the question that I talked about a little bit earlier. You're using too much of it. So
Mm,
cut it in half. Whatever you're doing, cut it in half.
less
And you
is
still have that fluffy look that you want, but you have the shine as well, and a tiny bit of control so that it'll stay the way you want it to look.
really.
Yes.
What about is there a certain way because obviously if you put it all in your hair it's going to weigh down and obviously less is more, but do you put it on at the root and or do you put it all over? What's the best way to use hair products like that?
Okay. After you shampoo, you need a good moisturizer,
Mhm.
moisturizing conditioner. So you put that on while you're doing your shower. Then at the end of the shower, you rinse it off. Now your hair is basically halfway there. Before you blow dry it, you want to put the products on it. So if you're going to do some mousse, you want to make sure it's low alcohol content. In my book, I have some of those because the higher the alcohol content, the more it's going to damage the hair.
Okay.
So that's really important. When you use some of the leave-in conditioners, I really don't recommend mousse, but guys kind of like mousse.
Yeah.
So, but there are
Yeah.
different products that you can use instead of the mousse that'll give you that same hold and shine that you're looking for with the mousse.
Okay. Are all mooses created? This is weird.
I love that question.
Are all mooses created equal?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay.
You'd have to read that label to decide what's best for you.
Okay.
The fewer ingredients, probably the better the product, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think this is important because I think guys are starting, obviously, kind of like what we said at the top of the show. Guys are looking at themselves and going, "Man, I want to make a change, but how hard is it to be, a new you with your hair?" And I think, like a lot with skincare, it's kind of like the same thing, right? It's um, guys want to take care of themselves now. And I think it's highly important to have an expert such as yourself, there to help guide people. Eh, with your book, and obviously, if you listen to our audio platform, but with your book now, would you say that it is like a a good guidebook for not only women but men as well?
Anyone that has hair on their head, and for those who don't have hair on their head, that want to get hair on their head, the book is the way to go because it gives you the process, not just like one quick answer. Because a lot of times we want the best shampoo, the best conditioner, the best mousse, but it's a process of building that up in your hair where you're not weighing your hair down so that it looks its best at all times.
Holy moly! I tell you, that speaks I think to people that are looking for hair stuff, that will speak, pardon the pun, volumes to how they kind of approach hair care and how they look. Um, what would you say about men who want to like help grow their hair? Because
Yes,
it is thinning in places, right? What
yes.
what helps that?
The Hoshu Wu I talked about earlier.
Mhm.
It helps reduce the gray. It helps grow the hair. And you might be surprised. You might have hair in places you don't want hair because it's going to grow that hair.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
Oh my God. Okay. So I have
Do you
got
think it'll help someone like me to get some hair back?
mm,
well, it depends on how long your hair follicles have been absent of hair.
mm,
If
Okay.
it's newly losing it, that's one thing. But if your muscles have collapsed, then not so much.
Oh, all right.
really? So it's kind of like atrophy almost of your hair follicle.
Yes, yes. But Hoshibu definitely does grow hair back. Like a person that has thinning hair around their hairline,
Yeah.
it will fill that out. So it would just be a guess, how long your hair has been bald and how long you've been shaving it and stressing
Right.
it out, to how
Right.
that follicle can pop back for you. But I would give it a try.
What's
Oh,
it called
my.
again?
It's Hoshibu. I'll get a bottle for you in
Yes.
just a second.
And while
Okay.
you get that, I am going to be absolutely, I kid you not, after this episode, I'm going to click all the links in our description.
Yeah.
So, Eric, this is like pretty cool,
Yeah,
right?
it'll be a fun thing to try, maybe it'll work.
And actually, because now on the top of your head, Eric, like on the sides of your hair,
I
you don't
have
really need
hair
a whole lot.
here, but not on the important part.
That would be a thing. Try it, and we should take
We'll
pictures.
take pictures and see how it goes.
Yes,
Awesome. Yes, that'll be
yes,
really cool. But
yes.
another thing that stresses the hair out is that when you put the shampoo on it, you go on one spot always first. You want to work around your hair, not do the same spot all the time. That's really important too.
Oh, okay. So you put it in because you can tell what kind of because I have like a little. Well, my wife has a squirt bottle, right? So I squirt it and rub it, and then just kind of like massage it in and be nice and gentle, right? Don't be like,
Yes, yes, yes.
okay, okay, boy, Rose, I love this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Thank you guys for having me today. I'm so excited to be here. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Good. We're excited too. So you went to go get your product, right?
Yes, it's the Hoshiwu. It's Heshouwu. And
Okay.
I
Okay.
got this one because this is the purest form that I found to use because they sell a lot of different variations, but this one by Dragon Herb is really the best one to use.
Hmm.
Okay, we will put that one in the description. So everybody listening and watching in can absolutely go and
Yeah.
visit that. Now, is that a vitamin, or do you put it on your hair and kind of rub it in?
On that site, on the Dragon Herb site, they have a tonic that you can
Okay.
drink or herb. So they have either way you can go, a pill form or a tonic to drink.
Okay. Which is better?
Whatever
In
you
your
prefer.
opinion. Oh,
Whatever you
really?
prefer.
So it's all the same.
Yes.
Okay, because that would be the thing. You go to the site and they go, well, which one do I pick? It really doesn't matter because it
No.
all does. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So there is hope. And again, I think if people it sounds like if people kind of catch it early, and this is like a really obviously the natural way to do it, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
And
You'll
it's
see your
always
fingernails come alive. It really lightens the skin, brightens you up. It really, you can see it in your whole demeanor when you use that product on a regular basis.
Wow.
wow. Okay. And I didn't know because I know you went to go get your product. I was telling Eric, as soon as our episode is over, I'm going to be looking for the what's it called?
Ho Shu Wu.
Oh,
Oh,
Shu
shoot.
Woo.
Yes.
That I'm going to be clicking that link as soon as this podcast is over.
Yes.
Talk a little bit because I don't want to like forget about the women out there because I think women have the same problem as men. I think like with like thinning hair, like how to tame your hair. How do you deal with cowlicks? Is there a way to deal with cowlicks?
Cutting
No.
it in the right direction.
So so that starts with a good hairstylist and knows
Yes, you got to cut it in the right direction. Go with it rather than against it, right?
okay. Okay,
Because
yeah.
unfortunately, I have maybe 2 or 3 or 4 in my own hair. So
Really?
I understand that process. So you
Oh,
just go with it. You don't go against it.
really? Okay. I thought I was the only one with like 4 or 5 or 10 cowlicks.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
So yes, it's
Oh,
kind of common, I guess.
wow. And I always find, you know, it's almost like you talk to your doctor about all your stuff and you ask questions, but you got to really ask your hairstylist that you're comfortable with. And obviously once they get to know you, but if you do go to a new hairstylist or a barber, they should know how to do that if they're, they train it?
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
they should.
Okay. Okay. So just go, hey, look, I've got cowlicks, and they don't even for me, they go, oh yeah, I see it. I don't even have to point to it, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Um, with women in general, because they have longer hair, and can you cover up things with longer hair? I guess like cowlicks. Can you deal with that?
Absolutely.
Oh, we can.
Yes, yes.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Yes. And when you're blow drying your hair, always use the brush. Never try to not use the brush because that brush will help control that cowlick and make it go in the direction that you want it to go in rather than the direction it wants to go in, right?
Really? Oh, okay. Because that's what you are really doing with it, like the blow dryer. You're telling it where to go and how to be, right?
Yes. Yes.
Hmm. Interesting. Man, there's a lot of truth
Yeah,
being spoken today on this podcast. I love this.
very much.
Okay, first of all, where can people go get your book?
Amazon or
Okay.
my website.
Okay, perfect. And if people want to contact you, obviously through your website, everything will be linked
Links in
in
the
the
description.
description. Yes. Is there anything, Rose, that surprises you about people's hair?
No, not
Really?
particularly. No. You
Well,
know,
okay. Hmm.
hair is hair. So it's just people getting to learn their own hair. And this sounds funny, but trusting your hair.
Right.
Don't get so uptight about trying to make it do something. Because I really discovered that the recticular muscle, it has an effect. Just like, for example, if you get shocked, you get frightened, right? The hairs just pop up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So now you got a meeting with the boss today. The hairs are just gonna pop up. So you just gotta go get some tea, do some uwusha, and just
Right.
trust.
See that? I think that's the biggest thing because obviously that's our appearance. The hair, skin, beard. For women, it's skin, eyes, the whole thing. And I think when you do have something that we see that we have to do and take care of, that means a lot to us. So, because we have to look good and all that. I think that's the biggest thing with me is I look at it and I'm like, oh God, any other day it's great. But today when I have something to do and places to be, and then it looks like this, right? And I think, and just like with anything, is it the more you practice these things, the easier it will become.
100% true.
Okay.
And my book gives you step by step for whatever you want to do with your hair. So you can solve up 98% of your hair care problems in my book.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
See, that's amazing because that's like one of the big questions is everybody you talk to has a different idea about how to do things. But I think when obviously we talk to you, you know what you're doing. You know how this thing goes. And to me, if you can cut out all that stuff that is happening, I think that's the best is when you hear it from somebody who and probably people know what they're talking. There's barbers and hairstylists and stuff, but I think when it comes down to the nitty gritty, this is like kind of like an all-in-one episode to help like everybody. And so uh yeah, I mean, I think it's highly important to know that it's takes steps because it just doesn't happen overnight, right?
Yeah.
True, true. And you have to know what products to use when. That's an important thing. And one thing I want to make sure I don't forget to say, Larry, is that one product line, you don't have to use every product on that line. That's a fallacy, right? I have to use the same shampoo, the same conditioner, the same. No, you don't have to. You want to use what works for you. For example, I know one product line that I love the deep penetrating conditioner, but one of their other products, it thins my hair out. So no, you just have to know what works for you, and you don't have to use the entire line of any product.
And I would venture to say you talk about that stuff in your book.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. What got you interested in creating your book? What was the one thing, if you could remember, if there was any just one thing?
Well, it's somewhat like an Oprah Winfrey story
Uh-huh.
that she had put a relaxer on her hair and it all fell out.
Oh.
So what do you do? Where do you go from there? So you have to know how to do it rather than just because you can buy it may not be the one to do.
Wow.
Because a really big thing about relaxers and perms is that you no longer have to use those harsh chemicals because it's really across the internet. You use lye to straighten hair. You do not need to use lye for anything anymore. So that's just
Wow.
not applicable for today at all.
That's wow. And actually that brings up a really good question because like African American hair, Hispanic hair, like Caucasian hair, is it now that's where it really is different. And even like Asian, right? Asian hair.
Well, technically, you have the same DNA structure, but it's the curl pattern which makes it completely different.
Interesting. Wow.
So there are paracortical and cortical fibers. So Asian hair, they have more paracortical fibers. Caucasian hair, they have a combination of both. And African hair has more of the cortical fibers. So it's just the same fibers, but it's more or less. That means the thickness of the hair or the thinness of the hair, and then the curl pattern.
You are a genius.
Yeah,
You
wow.
holy, you are an expert because okay. I mean, I don't know how many people know that. Maybe people know that. I didn't. That's amazing to think about. That's really
Wow.
amazing. How did you learn all this stuff, Rose?
Well, I enjoy science, so I did a little research when I was going to beauty school or cosmetology school.
Okay.
Wow. What I'm really blown away because obviously to
Seriously,
write a
wow. A
book,
lot of information.
yeah, like to write a book is one thing and to talk about it, but to have like an in-depth discussion about like not the technique but the structure of it. That's pretty freaking amazing, Rose.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um what would be if we haven't covered like anything, what would be the biggest takeaway that you could leave men and women?
Okay, we all use heat on our hair, right? Men and women. So if you are using heat, always finish up with the cool down blow dry. And that will protect the hair and seal the hair and keep the hair on the head.
Wow.
Okay. 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 Rose, this has been amazing.
Very informative.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, we're excited. And I think obviously I'm more excited to learn about my hair, but I'm really excited to learn that maybe there's something Eric can do
Yeah.
to help with the top of his head, his scalp.
Yeah. I'm very
Um
interested in that.
Also beard care and stuff. And again, if people have any questions, anything we've talked about today, all the links are where, Eric?
All of the links will be provided in the description if you're listening in on Anchor. And when the show goes up, it'll be in all of our social medias.
Excellent, excellent. And before Eric, you wrap up, Rose, thank you for being on the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming back on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to be a second offender.
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Me too, me too. Pick up your new book. And what's the name again?
Unlock the secrets for relaxers, perms, and colors.
Perfect.
Awesome.
At Amazon. And for any kind of questions for Rose, click her website right there in the description on the contact us page and send her questions. And Rose, again, thank you, thank you, thank you,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
thank you.
Yes, well, Larry and Eric, it's a delight to be here. Thank you. And maybe in the future, I'll be a third time offender.
Exactly. Yeah. Repeat offender.
There
Well,
you
Rose,
go.
again, to echo what Larry said, thank you so much for coming on. You can buy the book and all of the other stuff in the description below. Rose, again, thank you. And everybody, like we say each and every week, remember, support our troops.